book lovers, it is GSwiz here, and I'm here today with my October TBR. It's October, it's spooky season, it's birthday season, it's everything. My favorite month of the year. I think it's my favorite month of the year. Things start to warm up, and that is something I am not a fan of. And you know, the increased chances of getting hay fever and then seeing all the bees everywhere. Yeah, like, I mean, look, spring isn't too bad, but I'm not necessarily excited about the weather here in the southern hemisphere, but I am excited about the time of year because this is the time of year where everyone is either reading spooky stuff or like paranormal-esque stuff. I am planning to read a bunch of monster related stuff this month, and to top it all off, it is the birthday month of both Camilo and myself. Very much excited to take a week off of work, and while I'm very much looking forward to reading paranormal and monster related books, I'm also kind of excited about the idea of cramming before the end of the year, because I'm not gonna lie, it is quite tempting to read the most books I've ever read within a year this year, because you know, I'm doing very well so far, and I did mention this in a previous video. I keep on mentioning it, I'm sorry. I accidentally put it out into the universe that I plan to read 400 books this year to someone, and because I said it to someone, I'm holding myself to it, and I know it's terrible, okay? I know I'm the problem. So I plan to read a bunch of books on the shorter end. I plan to listen to shorter audiobooks. I plan to read a lot of manga. I am doing what I can to achieve this goal, but I'm still gonna make sure that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it. So I guess without further ado, I'm gonna get straight into this TBR and talk about the books that I'm excited to get to within the month of October. The first two series that I'm gonna mention in this TBR video today are series that I plan to listen to on audio because I don't have the physical copy, and both series have titles that have a shorter duration. So I reckon these will definitely make great binge reads. I'm gonna start off with the Cursed Captors series by Nisha J. Tooley. I've actually wanted to read another series by this author, and that is The Trial of the Sun Queen. I did mention that in my 5-star predictions. I do plan to get to that series eventually, but I've decided that through listening to the series, it will give me a taste of what is to come within the rest of her books. There's also another series that I do want to read that they've also been publishing on top of Trial of the Sun Queen. I'm trying to remember what those were. They have very pretty covers, but I believe that's a self-published series. I do want to get to those eventually, but I thought I might as well ease my way into their books through starting the Cursed Captors series. This series sounds very interesting. I think one of these books has like an age gap situation, but the protagonist, the female protagonist, is the one who is much older than the male protagonist, and the female protagonists in this series are captives, and then a romance blossoms from there. Yeah, it's kind of like Beauty and the Beast. That's why I am very much looking forward to trying it out, I guess. And I'm not gonna lie, these covers also did stand out to me, but that's probably because they're colorful. All of this author's covers are colorful, and I am living for it because I love a good colorful cover, and I love a good colorful series or backlist. There might be some darkness on my shelves, but there's also some color, and I very much appreciate the color. Very much looking forward to getting to the series and letting you guys know how I go with it. I really hope that I like it, and I bet I will because I've heard great things about Trials of the Sun Queen. We'll see how I go with these shorter books. And the next book series that I've decided to place on my TBR for the month of October is the Black Bear Clan series. This is not a bear series. Don't let the title of the series deceive you. It becomes very obvious what the series is about when you look at each individual cover. This series is about an orc clan and each of the orcs' romances. These books, they seem to be shorter in length. The audiobooks seem to be around like 5 to 6 hours each. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I am looking for books and series to cram to meet my read count. And I think that binge listening to this series would be a good idea. I've heard great things about Zoe Ashwood as an author. I've seen a good amount of reviews so far about the series. I'm seeing it everywhere on my Kindle Unlimited algorithm, and I've been curious about it. And so I've decided that I want to listen to the audiobooks of the series to see what the hype is about. And who knows, if I happen to like the series, I might just purchase the bind-ups for the series. We will see. Looking forward to getting to the series, and I think that it is perfect for the occasion because we've got monsters, and it is a fantasy romance, but I mean, I don't know. I just think that orcs sometimes can be spooky, but I mean, regardless, they're monsters. I don't know if I've read much orc fiction previously. I know I've read Forged by Magic, which follows a half-orc. I honestly could be wrong, but I don't think I've read any other orc fantasy romances beyond that. So I think this will be a first for me. I could be wrong though. I mean, I read a lot within a year. Maybe I might just check my back catalog to see. But I can at least confirm that I have not read much romance that has had to do with orc. And the next thing that I'm going to mention that I've placed on my October TBR is the one manga series that does not have any paranormal themes whatsoever, and that, my friends, is Blue Box. I am so looking forward to continuing on with this series. I have volume 9, right? I read volumes 1 to 8 at the very beginning of this year, and I need to continue on with the series, but I've decided that I don't really want to continue on until I have a few volumes to binge. And I know that another volume is going to come out in October, and so that is why I'm deciding to at least binge read 3 to 4 volumes within this month, so I can just enjoy these characters' highs and lows in large doses, I guess. Yeah, very much looking forward to continuing on with this series. There's also going to be an anime adaptation that will drop soon. I'm so excited. As I'm filming this video, it is not yet out, but I'm just so excited for the anime adaptation. It is an anime that I've been highly anticipating, and I've just really wanted to show Camilo this series through the anime with the hopes that he might just pick up the manga series. I want everyone to pick this manga series up. It is so good. It has the vibes of Slam Dunk and Haikyuu, but also provides the vibes of Toradora. At least that's my personal opinion. It very much reminds me of a good shonen romance. And yeah, this is a very good shonen romance. I would highly recommend it. If you're not sure about picking up the manga yet, I would highly encourage you to check the anime out when it drops. Very much looking forward to watching that, but I am so looking forward to binge reading the next few volumes in this series as well, because this series made for a magical time at the very beginning of the year. It just gave me all the great summer vibes, and we are slowly going back into summer here in the Southern Hemisphere, so I think that right now is the perfect time to dive back into the series. And funnily enough, One Punch Man does have monsters, so I think it's fitting. One Punch Man volume 28, I've been really enjoying my read of this series. It is just so action-packed, so fun, so hilarious as well. I mean, there's literally a guy dressed up in a dog costume who calls himself Watchdog. I mean, that's incredible. I love it so much. I love the comedy in this series, everything. It is just so funny, but at times it's quite gruesome and grotesque due to the monsters playing the villainous part of the story. It's gonna be a very interesting read. I'm very much looking forward to checking this one out. It has been a few months since I've read a One Punch Man volume, and after reading this, I believe I'm caught right up, unless of course 29 is coming out very soon. I actually have not been keeping up with that. Essentially, I just need One Punch Man back in my life. And the next manga series that I've decided to put on my TBR for this month is The Midnight Secretary. I've wanted to read this one for a while. It is a vampiric josei series. And when I say josei, I mean that it is an adult woman's romance. We are following these characters who I believe are in their 20s. And yeah, there are some steamy scenes from what I know. And I have heard great things about the series. I'm always up for a new vampiric series. I don't know, there's just something about them. It's probably because when I was a kid, I was banned from watching Twilight, so I don't know. I think it just brings out the rebellious nature inside me. I can't believe I'm saying that in my late 20s, but it is what it is. The last vampiric shoujo I read, I didn't love, and I'm wanting to find a vampiric shoujo that I can associate vampiric shoujo or josei with, rather than consistently think about Rose and Blood, you know? So I'm hoping that Midnight Secretary will be the one for me. Thankfully, I've seen great reviews about the series, so I don't have too many worries going into it, but I am a little bit skeptical because I'm just hoping that it's not like Rose and Blood and that it will be better than Rose and Blood, or at least the reading experience that I had with it. I'm hoping it's not overly cheesy, but I am here for the dramatics, okay? Like, I am down for the dramatics. I know that shoujo romance and josei romance does have its dramatic moments, so I'm fully expecting this to be dramatic, but I'm just hoping it's well written. That's all. I mean, it doesn't have to be super well written, just better than Rose and Blood, or at least the first episode of Rosario plus Vampire. I was planning to read that series. I literally have it in a box set, but after watching one episode of the anime, I'm actually completely turned off from it. Maybe eventually I might get to that series, but I just assume that this is gonna be read first. And the last manga series that I have to mention that I've placed on my monthly TBR is a manga series that I've actually watched the anime adaptation for, and it is one of my favorite animes at the moment, and that, my friends, is The Ancient Magus's Bride. I love this series so much. I currently own all the volumes that come in the season 1 box set. The season 1 box set consists of volumes 1 to 9, and I am kind of just wanting to dive back into the season 1 story. I really loved season 1. As much as I do appreciate season 2, there's just something about season 1 that is just the best for me. I don't know, it just has a very nostalgic quality to it, even though I only recently devoured the first season. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to dive right back into the season 1 story. I love it so much. As soon as I finished watching season 1, I wanted to dive right back into season 1. Even though I was very much looking forward to see how things would progress in the story, I just really wanted to dive back into the very beginning of the story. I don't know what's up with me. At least I do have the opportunity to do so through the manga, so that is what I am planning to do, and I think that it is perfect for the season because there are some Halloween references in the series. It's very creepy, and I think out of all the series that I've mentioned, it's actually probably the most dark. Even though it's technically a cozy fantasy romance, I mean, in some aspects, it is actually a very creepy series. Like, I remember there was an episode that was just really dark, and Camilo had looked at me and he's like, "Are you sure you're okay to continue on?" And it was like episode 4 or 5 or something like that. You know, the one with the cats. I'm just gonna say the one with the cats. I mean, there are a few with cats, but I mean, if you've at least watched the first few episodes, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? But I decided that I was intrigued enough to continue, and so I did, and now I will again. So cannot wait for this one. I think that it is the perfect read for October, and can't wait to let you guys know how I go with the manga. And moving on to some book series that I physically own, starting with Powerless. Now this has nothing to do with the season specifically. I have not read Powerless and I've wanted to read Powerless for a while, and so I've decided to place it on this TBR. Once again, this is a book series I've heard great things about. It is blowing up absolutely everywhere, and I've been trying to figure out why it has been blowing up the way that it has been blowing up. And so yeah, I decided that it is about time that I dive into this book series. And I mean, it's got such a pretty cover. The rest of the series have such pretty covers, and I see that there are special editions coming out, and I want the special editions, but also I need to kind of like justify having the special editions, you know? And I think the best way to do that is actually read the series and see if I like it, and hopefully I will like it just as much as everyone else. I know that this is essentially Red Queen meets The Hunger Games based on its description, but it follows characters who have powers and they don't have powers. I mean, sorry, the protagonist doesn't have powers, but she lives in a world where people do have powers, and she has to join this tournament where she is fighting those who do have powers. Very interesting concept. It is a concept that I would have really wanted to read 10 years ago. I mean, I did with Red Queen. I really liked Red Queen at the time that I did read it. I got really excited over that concept. I'm just hoping that my inner child comes out with this book, you know? Very much looking forward to checking this one out, and I hope I love it just as much as everyone else so I can justify having multiple editions of Powerless. The second last book series that I have to mention on my October TBR today, book lovers, is this series right here. What was the series name again? Oh my goodness, I completely lost it. I think it's Glimmer Falls. Yeah, there's just no Glimmer Falls here on the spine or the cover. I think maybe it might be. No, I don't even see it in the synopsis. Okay, but I'm pretty sure the series is called the Glimmer Falls series. The first book is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, and the rest of the books have really cool titles as well. A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, and then A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. Very intriguing series based on the titles. I thought it was quite fitting to read this series during the October period because they feature paranormal creatures. And I mean, this cover is giving me fall vibes, even though it's not technically fall here. I like the fall aesthetic during this time, even though pumpkins do make me nauseous, you know, but I do like the autumn leaf aesthetic. And I know for a fact that a lot of Aussie readers are within the same boat. We love feeling cozy during this period. I mean, I definitely love to wind down during October, especially because I like taking a week off at least. I just love feeling cozy during my birthday period, and I reckon that the books in this series might just make me feel that way. I have not read much cozy paranormal romance throughout this year. I did read a lot last year, so I'm hoping to get to some at least by the end of the year. If not, then there's always a next year, you know? I mean, right now my main priority is just read as much as possible this year, and then maybe next year I might chill. I might not commit to a 400 book read count, you know? Quite ridiculous, I know. Looking forward to getting to this one though. Essentially, that's not even this book's problem, you know? But I'm hoping that I at least start this series this year. I don't know. I might or I might not. We will see. And the last book series that I've placed on my my October TBR is the Kit Davenport series by Tate James. I have wanted to read the series for a while. I mean, I've technically wanted to read all of Tate James's series for a while. I've previously read a few books by Tate James, but I do want to get to this one before Babe 2025, and I think this is the perfect time of year to read the series because I believe it is a paranormal romance, and I think that paranormal romance during this time of year is perfect, you know? I don't know much about the series, but I at least do know that it is a paranormal fantasy why choose series, and it is one of maybe the only fantasy why choose series by Tate James. I'm not sure. I really do need to explore more of Tate James's backlist, especially before Babe 2025. I do want to get the rest of this set signed at Babe, but I guess that will depend on if the series is one of my favorite series by Tate James, because I'm considering getting the special edition set of the Voice of Belrose signed. Actually, no, they might already be signed by Tate James because I did purchase them at her table, but that was after I had met her at Babe 2023. I don't know, we will see. I'm just trying to work out which books I would get signed by Tate. I mean, there are a few series that I'm wanting to explore in the lead up to Babe 2025, but this one is a priority because I have the beautiful Arcane Society special edition set, and I believe only book 1 is signed. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the gold foiling. I love how beautiful these books are, and I just need to read them because I've been hearing nothing but great things about this series so far from those who have been absolutely raving on the Arcane Society Facebook page about it. I'm just hoping that it becomes one of my favorite series, you know? And as I often say, there is only one way to find out, and that is if I actually read the series. So I plan to do that sooner rather than later. If I don't get to it in October, then that is okay, but I do plan on reading it sometime prior to the event. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay to the end of the video, leave me the blue heart emoji. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.